Hi guys, today I'm going to be injecting myself because I've told you all this before, but I've got a bleeding disorder. It's called haemophilia. So today I've twisted my knee, so I'm going to have to inject myself, which it doesn't hurt. If you don't like needles, you can just look away, it's fine. And a good thing to do is get a haemophilia bracelet or like a medical bracelet. So mine, for example, says Oliver Dix, my date of birth, haemophilia, bleeding disorder. And I'm going to run through how you inject yourself. So first, you need to get a sterile. So first you need to clean your hands with like soap, like it's foam stuff. And then you need to find your, you need to prime your needle. So get all the bubbles out so they don't go in your veins.
Sure. Do you want me to do?
Yeah. So my mum helps me. She's here beside me.
Hello.
She's helping me. She's quite good because she's done it for the last year or two now, because we do something called prophylaxis, where I have 2 injections a week, and that means I can play more physical sports. Like I can play, before I had this, I couldn't play football or rugby or cricket, but now I can play all of those, just because I have injections twice a week. It doesn't hurt, it's just a little scratch, and it's definitely worth it. So if you're a haemophiliac and you're watching this, I think you should definitely try and do this if you're allowed to. And then what you need to do, you need to wipe the place that you're going to inject. Wipe it down 2 or 3 times. Then you put something called a tourniquet on. It sort of tightens your arm to
You've got a fancy one, haven't you?
Yeah, I've got one with vampires on. My mum bought it for me, and so you need to tighten it. What does it do again?
The vein pop out, doesn't it?
Yeah, it makes the vein sort of more visible and like more easy to get the needle in. And so do the tourniquet quite tight, like that, and then get the needle and
Feel around for the vein, don't you?
yeah, so you feel for the vein. So I can feel mine because I've been drinking quite a lot.
Yeah.
It's nice and juicy. So
And sometimes we miss, don't we?
yeah, everyone misses sometimes. Like the doctors had to inject me 4 times once, but that was because I didn't drink enough, wasn't it?
Mhm.
Thank you.
So you have to keep your arms straight, don't you?
Yeah, keep your arm straight. Feel for the vein where you go in, before you go in. See, that's a nice and juicy one. Am I in? Don't think so.
Well, looks like you went in a little bit, doesn't it? There we go.
There we go.
Perfect. So what's the next thing?
Next thing,
Tourniquet.
you get the
Do you want me to loosen it?
tourniquet. You loosen it or take it off.
So how do you know when you're in the vein?
You get something called a flashback. It's a little bit of blood that flashes back, and you need to take the tourniquet off, and now pull back a little to see if you're still in the vein. Push in slowly. Now pull back. Then you need to, every 5 or 6 seconds, you need to pull back to check if you're still in the vein, but when you get nearer to the end, it's fine. Now you get something called a gore, which is like a tissue, and you put it on top and take the needle out and cover it up.
You have to apply quite a bit of pressure.
Yeah,
don't you?
and another thing, don't bend your arm because that can bruise the vein and damage the vein. So try not to do that. Hold it on for maybe 5 minutes. Put a lot of pressure on it. Just don't bend your arm. And I would recommend when you're actually injecting, when you feel for the vein and you can feel it, you make a little like mark in your head, like you can like keep your eye on where you can like feel the vein, and then you put the needle in there. And I always think you're landing a plane because you don't go straight down, you sort of go diagonal.
Haemophilia.
Yeah.
Did you want to explain what it is?
What, my haemophilia?
Yeah.
So basically what my haemophilia is, it's where if I bleed and I haven't had my injection, so for example if you had a nosebleed and it lasted 10 minutes, mine might last 20 or 25 because my factor levels are like lower, and so that's why I need an injection to bring them back up. And it's like it won't form a scab, for example. So if I grazed my knee and it wouldn't form a scab for a lot longer, but
What about your knee today?
yeah, so it's a lot easier to hurt yourself because you can literally, I think what I did today, I just twisted my knee a little bit, and it's so easy because it's like your body's really sensitive, and it was like, it's a bit like if you get hurt really badly, but then for a haemophiliac, you don't need to get as badly hurt, and then you'll still have the same consequences as like just someone without haemophilia. See, it's not hard to do the injection, you've just got to get a bit used to it. I've got to admit, before I had my prophylaxis, where I have my injections twice a week, before I had that, it was a lot harder for me because I always used to feel a lot left out because all my friends would be playing rugby and football, but then I would have to like sit and watch or go and find something else to do. So it was quite annoying. So
And you used to go to the hospital a lot.
yeah, I used to go to the hospital quite a lot. I used to come out of school quite a lot just because I hit my head once, my forehead, and I had a massive lump there and 2 full black eyes. But like they said it, like the school said it was like a small little lump, didn't they? And then you came in and you started crying because it was literally like a tennis ball, because it was the impact that I had. So what happened was someone was chasing me. They sort of tripped me up and I hit my head on a wooden stump, and I think I got knocked out for a minute or so, because I remember like when I hit the floor, there was no one around me. But then I remember when I lifted my head up, there was like 16 people around me. I lifted my head up and everyone backed away. They were like, "Ooh!" And I was like, what are they sort of freaked out because of? And then I remember I went inside and they had this little mirror. And I looked inside of it and I was like, what's that on my head? Because I was only young. I was like, what, year 1? So maybe 6 or 7. So I didn't really know much about my haemophilia. As now, I don't really worry about my haemophilia that much because I don't really have it anymore. That I have it, like I still have it, but it's like my injections make it like
More controlled, isn't it?
yeah. Yeah, so it's like if you've got a fire and then no water, but then see, I'm like the fire but no water, but then other people, like, for example, like my friends, they have like fire with water, so it's like they can put the fire out, but I can't. So it's like a lot harder to sort of like, it's just a lot harder with everything because it used to make me really emotional, didn't it? Because I remember I wanted to join a rugby club and I wasn't allowed to, and I used to do horse riding, but the doctor said I wasn't allowed to. But now I do horse riding, but like I used to do it every week. But now I do it maybe every 2-3 months with my mates. I just go out and it's like, where is it that we go to?
I don't remember.
Oh yeah, neither do I. But they've got some big horses.